paternity test be mandatory? Now, first we will say, why would we ask this question? Should paternity test be mandatory? I mean, you have a lot of situations that you know, you definitely need a paternity test. You have, women that are, you know, doing a lot of, not just women as men as well, dabbling with other people, and somebody comes up pregnant, and people don't want to own up to their responsibilities unless uh, you force them to. So that's why we got to have paternity tests is to force people to handle their responsibilities. You go out there, you have sex with somebody, you get them pregnant. We know babies cost a lot of money, but you have to pay for your responsibility. So my thing is, should they be mandatory? Now, are we saying we're not saying that they should. Now, they are mandatory when it comes to child support cases. We already know paternity tests are mandatory unless the paternity was already provided.
I'm back.
But what's going on? All right, so we got Mr. Mango. He just joined us,
Sorry about that.
and I was just talking about how paternity tests are mandatory in child support cases. But are when you ask the question, should paternity tests be mandatory? Are you saying period, even for people that's in good standings with their significant other?
Yes.
Okay, so I did a little research and I seen that uh, some ways of providing paternity is when you're at the hospital. Say, for instance, there's the um, paper they have you sign proving that you are the father at the child's birth. So that's one way to do it without having to take a paternity
That's
test.
not a paternity test. That's some dude taking responsibility. I mean,
Yeah,
unequivocal,
yeah,
absolute paternity has been verified.
yeah. So he's saying as soon as the baby comes out, they get the blood work or the swabbing going on right after the baby's born.
Yep. And
So
and
why?
go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say why.
Well, there are too many cases of uh, men being um, put in situations where uh, they may not know till after the fact, or the wrong man may be accused of paternity, and therefore the proceedings of child support and all the other stuff start to take place, and then
Yeah,
it's not his. And God forbid, there's a dude that steps up. Let's say a dude steps up because he thinks it's his. Well, it gives him the the ability to know without a shadow of a doubt, without having to have that conversation, because there's doubt in his head. Okay, that conversation is the most uncomfortable conversation to have if you care about the person you with. If you don't care and you're looking for an out, that's the first thing you say. But if you care about the person you
yeah,
with and you kind of really don't want to know, and before you even begin to bond with said child, because the child just got here, mandatory paternity. If you're gonna put your name down on
yeah,
if you're gonna put your name down on the birth certificate, then you have to give mandatory paternity so we can verify that you are in fact this child's father.
yeah, yeah. You know what? I would say I agree. I agree with that because you do have, um, say for instance, you have women who will, they found a dude who's taking care of them. He's the good guy. He's handling all the bills. He's at home, and and he's just handling his business. Now let's say, for instance, there's this other guy that's roaming around and he checking her out, and I guess he's saying all the right things to her at this time, and she end up sleeping around with him, but that's not who she want to be with. That was just something fun for that moment, and it turns out she got pregnant by that dude.
Mm-hmm.
Now to protect her and that baby, she will withhold the information of what happened
Take it
just
to the
because
grave.
if yes, he will take it to the grave. If he
Mm-hmm.
don't know, it ain't nothing, to tell. And she's just doing that to protect her and the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Being selfish, actually, really selfish. But you know, that when that happened, it's just like that guy. He don't know nothing. And I would say having a paternity at a point like that, man, that'll definitely help rule out things that happen like that.
Mm-hmm. And we won't have these cases. Worst case scenario, we got the Maury situation where she bring 7 dudes on the show, and none of them the daddy. That's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, we don't have a situation like I saw on a Montel show where dude only found out because he wanted to donate one of his kidneys to one of his kids, and and
Yeah.
and when they went to do the
Okay.
test, he's not the match. So that led him to test the other kids, and none of them was his. And in cases like that, where the children 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, you're stuck. You have to deal with this life changing information. And yes, you love those children, but you're stuck. I also saw
Yeah.
I also saw a case where it was this young man who was 19, the girl, her mom, and his mom, and
Yeah.
it was on the what's the Steve Wilkos show, and a long story short, it come out it wasn't his, and the mom's was like, ain't nothing gonna change. His mom was like that too. Ain't nothing gonna change. You gonna be a man and you gonna X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, and Steve had to kind of put this in there on the slide, you know, because Buddy was hurt, and I guess he got feelings for the child. And I totally can understand how you can have feelings for a child, but as quick as that woman can stop having feelings for you, you can stop having feelings for the child. Okay, but Buddy was 19, no kids at this point, and y'all talking about him stepping up
Damn.
being a man, and this chick was the older chick,
Damn.
and this was and
That that
this is even crazier. It was 2 kids. It was an older one and a newer one, and none of them was his.
that's fucked up.
Mandatory
But but
paternity.
but those cases are every single day. I was just, I mean, I was talking about how shows like Maury and what's the other one name? Damn, I forgot his name. But you got Maury. His show made a killing off of that paternity testing, episodes where you are not the father and stuff like that. And I think this will definitely help a lot of people out. Now, my another question, like, do you think women should be punished for withholding that type of information from a man?
I don't think they should be criminally punished, but I do think they should be liable on a civil side of the game. Now they may not have anything, but that you should be able to have recourse. There should be something you can do, and if they do have something, because not everybody's broke, then you should be able to get some type of punitive damages. Uh, uh, for that's because at the end of the day, that's fraud, and you get ready to have me enter into a contract for 18 years on fraud. Just
Yeah.
imagine you enter into a
And,
contract with your cell phone carrier for 18 years off a lie.
but then you know what? What they can do though, if they want to punish them, they can give them probably the same punishment they give a man
Not gonna
when he
happen.
don't pay child support.
Not gonna happen.
I'm talking when he doesn't pay child support. There's various things they do to men when they do not pay child support.
But that's
Like
not
you
gonna
have
happen.
one where Yeah, yeah. It probably ain't gonna happen, but they take their license away from. I mean, they suspend their license.
Hmm.
They can get jail time. Uh, what else? I'm looking this up right now. Like they'll withhold your taxes from you.
Hmm.
Um, they even intercept your lottery winnings if you owe an amount of $2,500.
You know, and that's cool. I'd rather you take it from money I ain't never had. Um, but here's my thing when it comes to and why I say it's not going to happen. What you got to understand is, at least what some folks need to understand is everything's about money, right? So when dude need to pay child support, it ain't just straight up you pay child support. There's stuff in between you and the lady that ain't free. Okay, the court
Yeah,
ain't free. There's a whole bunch of stuff in between you and giving the lady money that's not free. So if there's any money that come out your pocket, there might be a portion that go towards the cost of facilitating this thing. All right, so that's that
yeah,
aspect of the game. Getting your license back costs money. Whatever class you might have to take costs money. The you know what with traffic violations, the probation you get or the payment plan for your license, that's a form of probation. And to even be in the probation, there's a fee for that also. Now, when you look at going after women the same way they go after men, 9 times out of 10, women are the custodial parent. Okay? So if you go after men,
yeah,
you don't have to find a place for the child to go because the child is with the mama. But you start going
yeah.
after
Uh-huh.
mamas, now we got to start finding places for the children to go. And if a lot, because not all the kids can go to family members or the man, um, you start going after the mamas for being
Do you
fraudulent.
think that I wonder, do you think that the courts just believe that women are better nurturers than men? The reason why they probably lean towards
Nope.
having the mother having the mother get the child?
No, I don't think the court believed that. I think the courts and the system understands the reality of life. And a lot of people don't want to face the reality of life, but the reality of life is simply this. Look at where society is right now. Okay? In different communities, we got different percentages of children born outside of marriage, outside of wedlock, a single parent households, right? Yes, everybody
Yeah.
knows somebody that's a success story, but for every success story, there's 10 times of non-success stories, or unsuccessful stories. Okay, and if we believe, see, we got to understand everything's connected. We can't believe one thing over here and not see how this other stuff over here contributes to that. So if we believe all they want to do is lock us up, okay, then we have to see,
Yeah.
well, what are some of the methods that they're using to make it easier for them to lock us up? And if they're using,
Hmm.
if they're playing chess with us while we playing Uno or spades, okay, um, if I'm a young man, and the only way I know how to interact with everybody else is through the eyes of my single mom,
Hmm.
it will cause what we have today, where a lot of men don't know how to deal with things unless they deal with an extreme emotional outburst or extreme rage or extreme. They don't know how to say, you know what, I got X, X, and X that I need to be concerned about. This is not worth the risk. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
they're not thinking as rational as one could think. Now, that's
Yeah.
not all
Don't know how to
dudes. That's not
rationalize.
all dudes that was come from mama. You know, because, when you talk about gender things, man versus woman, oh, well, not everybody. If I got to say that one more time, I'm going to blow my brains out. But when you look at the numbers, more and more men that are brought up in a single household, grandma, auntie, sister's mama, they become less able to be dependent on themselves and their own capabilities.
Their own capabilities.
their own capabilities. They become less able, as to quote the Republicans, to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. They become less able to be the provider, protector, and all that stuff that for all intents and purposes, every woman that says she's looking for a man want. They become less able to provide that because, for whatever reason, it is difficult for a woman to successfully, consistently raise successful, productive, independent, balanced-minded men.
So, all right. So, in doing something like providing mandatory paternity, do you think is in the that'll be easily be able to be put into the budget? Because anytime they would do something like that, it's gonna cost because you're gonna naturally need the manpower, even the equipment. Because making it mandatory, that's basically saying
How much
everybody
paternity?
who have a child.
How much paternity test
Uh,
cost?
um, from my research, when it's done by the child support people, it's $29.65, and they charge the mother. They charge everybody involved. So all three people, it
Pay a
comes up to
portion.
$88.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well, let's round it up to 100, right? To make this math
yeah.
easy, right?
Hmm.
Everybody knows when you buy in bulk, you get a discount. Okay?
Yeah.
Right now, what percentages of people are getting paternity tests in comparison to everybody?
Good question.
I'm willing to wager that it's probably around the 25% or less of new births are getting paternity tests, right? So when you take
Yeah.
the birth rate to, I would say 80 or 90%, because in some cases you can't find the daddy. So when you take the birth rate, or she don't know who he is, when you take the birth rate to more of 100% of people, because more people are getting them, that means we now have a steady flow, and the cost can come down, right? So now we still
Hmm.
haven't addressed who's paying for it. All right. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
majority of children that are born by way of consensual sex. Okay? At the
Yeah.
end of the day, the majority of the children that are born by way of consensual sex. So, this is how you get the money back. For everybody that qualified for the child tax credit, you deduct their portion from that. You deduct the cost from that. Okay? If she
Yeah.
don't, if they're not together, and if they're not together and he files his taxes separately, or even if they're together and they file separately, okay, you give him the option to get it deducted from his tax return, or he just pay the tax. So
But
go ahead.
the child support people actually they end up charging you for the paternity test at the end. Like say for instance, if the guy he turns out he is the father, he will be charged. He will have to reimburse the child support people for the test. Now, if turns out that he's not the father, the woman she will have to reimburse the child support people. Now, the only people that gets off of the fact of not having to pay it
If
is the
they're not
people
the
that get
daddy.
government. No, if they get government assistance. Like so, say if he's not the daddy, and they would have to make the woman pay for it. But if she's on government assistance, she won't have to pay anything.
Nah, I disagree with that because most people I know that's on government assistance, they still get a child tax credit. And this is not a situation that happened to you.
No, 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 no. No, that's on the site.
I know. What I'm saying is I
Yeah,
disagree with that as far as how it should be implemented. Let's say they was passing this new bill tomorrow about funding it, right?
yeah,
They should still hit her tax credit for it, for the cost of it too. And what that would
yeah.
do,
Yeah. They
what
should.
that would do is that would eliminate a lot of these, because a lot of times they be knowing that this dude and that dude probably ain't the dude. And it's the one dude that they didn't want to test, but they was kind of scared. You know what? It'll knock all that out the bud. Um,
Yeah.
and this is how you do it. It's coming out your tax. It's coming out your taxes, right? When you identify the person that you believe is the father of the child, that person is
Mm-hmm.
now going to be court ordered to. Oh, oh, oh. That's getting sticky because now we messing with illegal search and seizure. Um, uh, it's getting sticky because we have a right to privacy. So I'm not a
Yeah.
lawyer, but there I guess it should be looked at how to compel the person to um, take the DNA test or the paternity test, or maybe paternity tests should be sealed to where um, they only ever can be used for this instance. So let's say Buddy, who did it, right? Let's say he go to lose his mind, and he the daddy, or he did a test, and he not the daddy, whatever. They got his DNA on file, right? Or they destroyed it or
Yeah.
whatever. And let's say 3 years after that, he just decide he want to join ISIS and just go shooting up folks, right?
Yeah.
Well, if they find DNA on the crime scene, there has to be a measure in place to prevent them from cross-referencing the crime scene DNA against that. You see what I'm saying? Against that
Yeah.
process. Because if there have to be some measure to protect the consumer, to protect the person, the citizen, from that DNA that was submitted for paternity to not be used,
Mm-hmm.
you're not giving up your right to not incriminate yourself. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You're gonna have to just do some good old
Yeah.
fashioned police work.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying now. But I mean, that paternity thing, it can be possible, but that eliminate a lot of money that the government is making off of these people that's getting child support though.
I don't necessarily think so, because at the end of the day, we still doing the child support thing. All we doing is shifting the party to the proper one.
Yeah, yeah, but it would probably okay. I would think that it'll make a man and a woman probably come to a better agreement about things in terms of what they do with the child. Because if you already know, all right, we're having this baby, there's a automatic mandatory paternity test.
Uh-huh.
So there won't be no doubt, once the baby come out, that it's yours. Once the test come back, once the test come back says it's yours, it won't be no doubt then. So I think it'll help. I think it'll possibly build stronger understanding between the mom and the pops. Possibly, you'll probably have probably less people that fool around, knowing that if I get pregnant, there will be a mandatory, paternity test that has to be taken once my baby is born. So I think it'll be a different type of thinking going on
Oh, you
when
think
the
you think
baby is
people will be
born.
more responsible?
I think so. I think it'll encourage more responsibility. That's what I think. I think it'll
I think that's
encourage more responsibility.
optimism. I have pessimism when it comes to people doing right, but uh, it's 25 after the hour. Anybody that's watching or listening, if you got any thoughts on the subject, we'd love to hear. Fathers who had to deal with it and they not the daddy, or moms who had to do it, the dudes. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the subject matter. The number to call in is 929-477-2663, and we'd love to get your take on it.
Yeah, we would definitely love to get your take. I would be surprised to get somebody's take because I'm thinking everybody's looking at the game right now. I'm really You probably got some people, some outlanders like us, though. You
Yeah,
probably got some people like us that don't really care about watching the game. I'm the type I can really just wake up in the morning and I can just look at the score and be satisfied.
yeah, that's me. Cause I don't have a dog in that fight.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. My team was not even in there anyway. So, but man, the the whole paternity process while I was looking it up is crazy. Like how it goes is either the father or the male or the woman can go and apply for it, and what happens is once you put the person up on child support, they go and they get the case started. They have to find the person, so you need to have good information about where the person is. If you don't, it can take months or years for them to find that person. But if you do find the person, that's when they get them in. Then they go through the whole paternity testing thing, and who's the father or not, and all of that. And once that gets going, and they start the case, and then once they go ahead and go through with it, they charge you. I went to this one site that calculated what you will potentially get charged if you had to pay child support. They ask you like it's two questions: how much you make, um, and are you the custodial or the non-custodial parent, and will you be providing insurance for the child? And that goes into the calculation. So I put in, like, say for instance, someone who's making $2,000 and they're not providing insurance for the child, and they're the non-custodial parent. That they was no, I think I put they was the custodial parent, and they was charging them 300 and something to 400 and something. That was only for one child.
Mm, that's
That's a
crazy.
lot of money.
Just
I mean,
imagine,
that's
just
not a lot
imagine
of
if you
money.
wealthy. Just imagine what some of these child support payments are for some of these, athletes and celebrities. It's
Hey, they need to.
ridiculous.
I ain't gonna lie. I think they need to cap that though. Like there needs to be a cap, man. I mean, seriously. Like, say for instance, I get with a hood rat, and I'm a millionaire, and I impregnate her and get her a baby. I think that is dumb as hell.
Uh,
That I will have to pour all of my money her way just because of how much money I make.
I,
There
f-
should be a
I
cap.
used to feel that way. I used to because I think it's ridiculous. But you know what? I think it should stay in place with no cap because it should be used as a deterrent for people to do dumb crap. Bruh, you
So
rich.
so so
She's
so
a
that's so.
she's a groupie, bruh. You smash raw, and there should be no consequences, repercussions for your dumb decisions.
No, no, no. Just because she's a groupie and he's a millionaire, that don't mean he need to go find somebody else that's a millionaire.
No, no,
Hey,
no, no, no,
shoot,
no,
she
no,
was
no, no.
probably a beautiful
Maybe,
woman.
maybe if you courted her properly and decided to make her your wife, you wouldn't be in this child support situation.
Who
Maybe
says
if you
there's a
took the
proper
time to
way to
get to
get
know
with somebody?
her, you would know that she was worth nothing in the first place, and you didn't need to be dealing with her. But now you thinking about smashing. I
No, no. So I got a question. Why do our sexual urges got to have rules on them?
because sex is right after money being the root of all evil. Okay, the love of money is first,
Hey,
and the love of sex is second. Why, you ask? Because at the end of the
that's the problem
day,
with
the
society.
human race lacks self control and discipline. And men specifically, we will piss in our own eye if it meant we get to do something we want to do that we know is not in our best interest.
But is can we agree that is one thing that all humans will always have an issue with, which is their sexual urge, because that is, I believe, that is an instinct. That's probably our number one instinct is to have sex for the purpose of multiplying or pleasure.
Yes.
That is the number one instinct that we have, and we're being punished. because of that number one
No, you're not being
instinct.
punished because of that number one instincts. You're being punished because you showed lack of self-control and discipline and decision making. That's why you're being punished, not because you desire to have sex. You desire to have sex is fine. You rich, you can go to Vegas, okay? If you rich. So there's no excuse for being irresponsible with your penis. None whatsoever. You
That's
know,
not irresponsible. If you see a woman on the street and that is a beautiful woman, it really, if you see a woman and she is beautiful, it does not matter how much money she has. If that woman is beautiful to your eyes,
mm-hmm.
you are going after that. That is any man, and they are really punishing
Who
men.
brought up the
I think
term
that
hood rat? Who brought that up? Who said hood rat?
I'm not sure where
Okay,
that
I think it was
term
you.
came from.
I think no. I'm talking in this conversation. I think it was you.
Oh, in this
Okay,
conversation, me, yeah, yeah.
so the premise of my answer, my responses, is not I'm falling in love with some lady I met on the street that ain't got no money. Okay, the premise is you chose to smash a hood rat. If you don't know by now how dangerous smashing a random hood rat is to your financial security, then you deserve what you get.
The only reason why it is financially like suicide to do that is because of how the court system is right now. There's
Okay.
no cap.
Okay,
There is no
because
cap.
we
It
currently
don't make no
know
sense.
that there's no cap, then we should currently be doing things different to not get caught up in a capitalist system.
Now, I think we need to get some rules and regulations involved on
We
that
can work towards the system,
calculation.
but until the system changes, why we still falling subject to it? Because we ain't got no
Oh, I
self
told you
control.
that's the number one instinct. Got to have it.
Do you know what the purpose or what the said purpose of what the Sphinx represents?
No.
Okay, when you look at the Sphinx, the carving in the pyramids, uh, uh, the actual Sphinx is like a lion's body and a man's head. Okay,
Yeah.
well, it is said, and I haven't verified it. I'm not an Egyptologist, so I don't know, but it is said that represents our our humanness, our intellect, our brain, who we are as creatures on this earth. We have the capability to rise above our animal nature. That's why you got a man head on top of an animal body. Okay? So there's no need for
Okay.
us to allow for it's our instinct to screw to be a license or an excuse for us to not use our self-control, discipline, intellect to not get caught up because you want to smash.
Yeah. Yeah. But I truly believe, man, they got to put a cap on that. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to, like, like the women that, because I get it. Like, the man is rich, and that's his child, so they want his child. I believe they want his child to live on his lifestyle.
When you say
That's
they
your
want
child.
his
Why would
child to
you want
live
your?
on his lifestyle, it had nothing to do with the child. She want to live on his lifestyle. Okay, we gotta understand these
Oh,
there's
oh,
predator women out there who are and if
oh
you
yeah,
if
yeah,
you if
yeah.
you haven't had
I'm talking
nobody
about the
tell
court.
you, oh no, the court don't care. The court want him to pay the fees. It's all about paying what you got to pay to the courts. They don't care fees. You got the money. Oh, I got you. I got him. Fees. Let's get him.
Yeah, yeah, I want, and they do tax every child payment, like the payment they tax it. So they're definitely making a killing. I don't get that. So it's like just for them providing a service that we could have potentially provided for ourselves. Uh, they tax the payment because the women who do it, they don't understand what they're doing. Especially when you say, for instance, you got a baby father, they probably saying like, all right, we're gonna make him pay $150 a month. Now, by the time that money goes through them and get to her, it's probably about 120 or something, 125. Like they don't took their money from that. When she, I just think these type of issues, instead of letting the laws and the courts handle them, if we would just become more responsible and just come together like grown people and just be like, hey, listen, it ain't working out with us, but we need to do this for the kid. Here's how much you can give me, and I think things will be all right. I can give you some visitation on Saturday and
You can't give
Sundays.
me nothing. This is my son. I ain't giving me nothing. I got equal
I mean that.
rights to equal access to my son.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm
Visitation
saying
on
you can
weekends.
you come to an agreement. Come
Yeah.
to an agreement. And I ain't saying it got to be weekends, but both parties should be able to come to an agreement. And see, that's what I'm saying too.
Oh,
That's where the problem lies too. Be when you just sat there and said like, "This is my son. You can't tell me when I said." But how we gonna come to an agreement if we can't talk about
oh, we
when
could
who
we
should
we
get the
could talk
child
about it,
when?
but you weren't trying to talk about it. You was telling me that I can want to get him on the weekends. The talking about it is, well, let's sit down and figure out what's a good schedule for us so we can have equal access, and at the same time, the child life is stable and not disrupted because we trying to get our visitation. That's having a conversation.
And the child's life's gonna be disrupted
It's
regardless.
going to
So
be disrupted,
no,
but there's
no,
levels. It could be really disrupted,
yeah,
or we can try to minimize the disruption as best we can. Now, let me
yeah,
go back to
yeah,
something you said a moment ago. You said we need to be more responsible and be able to sit down and talk this stuff out. Well, if we were more
yeah.
responsible, half of us wouldn't even be in this situation in the first place. I'm just saying. If we were better,
You think so?
yeah. A lot of the stuff we find ourselves caught up in, especially when it comes to you know paternity and baby mamas and all that, is a product of irresponsibility. It's, not every relationship was awesome, and then it wasn't. And then, no, most of it is people being whores.
Yeah.
Most of it is people being irresponsible
Hey,
with their sex life.
hey, why are we calling it whores? Because they're having sex with multiple people.
Yeah, that's horse behavior.
That's. I'm sorry, but for me, I just think society has made it wrong to express yourself sexually. That's why we. That's why we're so angry. That's why we're so angry,
I think
man.
society has done the exact opposite. Um, they have made it so right to express yourself not only sexually, but any other kind of lee that you can add to that when it comes to gender, when it comes to sexual orientation. Society as a whole had made this one of the greatest times in the history of the world to be whatever you want to be sexually. Okay? I think there are few that still try to buck this new world order, this new system. Okay? But because it's such a reviled thing for those to buck it, they're put on blast. That it's amplified. Okay? At the end of the day, most people, like you and me, we don't bother nobody by what they want to do sexually. Most
Yeah,
people, like
yeah.
you and me, we let folks do whatever they want to do. We don't bother nobody.
Whatever turns you on.
Yeah, if it's not directly affecting me, the average person ain't bothering nobody. It's small groups on one side of the thing that's raising the stink, and the group on the other side that's responding to the stink. And it just so happened the right now the group with the most power is the group that's spreading the
Oh,
word.
yeah.
Okay, so it's
All right.
amplified.
If you just now listen to the show, we're talking about should paternity be mandatory. If you want to call in and give your take on it, the number is 929-477-2663. Hey, and if we should be getting some folk. Well, we only got 20 minutes left on the show, but I just peeked at the score, and looks like the Cavs are gonna lose this one tonight. Yeah, this game is over with. It's 124 to 113 with 3 minutes left. Now, unless they can do some shit Reggie Miller did, Reggie Miller scored like 8 points in like 1 minute before. So
Well, if
we'll
folks,
see.
if what folks were saying about the refs was true, then only time will tell.
And, this paternity thing, man. If this really came to pass, this would help out not only the two parties involved. I think it would definitely help out the child as well, because I think people underestimate the importance of a child having their biological parents, in their life. You look at these stories with these people that are orphans, or no, I ain't gonna say orphans, but the ones who were given up for adoption at an early age and never seen their biological parents. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, what do? They end up going to look for them later on in their life. So I think having a paternity test mandatory is that'll be great. It'll solve a lot of issues in our society that we have today.
Yeah, yeah. I I I just don't have no hope for man. I am a firm believer that when given two paths, left path, right path, left meaning being wrong path and right being the correct path, more of us are going to go the wrong path than go the right path. That's just my belief. And the consequences, the fallout to that is going to be what we have today with 70% in just our community alone are born outside of confines of marriage. And what we find ourselves doing is redefining the importance of a two parent household. We're redefining the
Yeah,
importance of the structure that comes with a consistent mother and father in the home. You
and
know,
you know what though? This um, I believe that mankind is real resilient. We have definitely. I don't think that way. I think that we're definitely resilient, and because we've come a long way. You got to think about all of the how far we've come from the medieval time days to Western days. You know, like we've come a long way. Well, I mean, we even gonna possibly go to the fact where we're gonna probably go to another planet. Who knows if we have been to another planet already? Like we've probably already killed a planet before. So I don't know, man. I
we
think
got to be able to
I think
leave this
mankind is
one.
very powerful.
We got to be able to leave this one first, sir.
Yeah, yeah, I know. The thing is, we're working on that. I mean, that we may not see it in our lifetime, but
We can't
we're
leave this
working on
one.
it in our lifetime right now.
Outer space is a lie. It don't exist. There's no such thing as outer space.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I just watched Life the other day, and I was like, wow, this looks really good. And too bad it's not real. Like they had International Space Station. I like, wow. Mm.
I don't know, man. We don't unless I'm shown with my own eyes that there is no such thing as space. But I can't help but believe what I was taught ever since that I was, put into school
Mm-hmm.
or before school. I mean, it's all about proof, man. If you can't see it like physically,
Oh my
I,
goodness. I'm sorry, but the the video that I was telling you about with the
yeah,
kid and the mom and the mom and his mom. I'm scrolling through my Facebook timeline right now. Mind you, I saw this like a month ago, and it pops up on my Facebook timeline right now. I don't even know how to share this in a way that the viewers can see it. But what I'm going to do is I'm gonna send it to you so at least you can see it because this
yeah,
is ridiculous.
dang, yeah. I'm gonna definitely check that out. Yeah, the Warriors. Breaking news: the Warriors just won the NBA Finals.
That's what's up, man. I'm glad they did because um, I felt bad last year for the Warriors because
Yeah,
me personally I'm an underdog type of guy, but they ain't play like no underdogs. Okay, they ain't
Yeah.
played these finals like no underdogs. LeBron team seemed to have played like the underdogs.
Hmm.
But
Yeah. So they came back and got their revenge.
yeah, and I kind of, you know, after the season that the Warriors had, uh, not this year but last year, and for them not to win, I was like, for them to be the exact same two teams, yo,
Yeah.
get this, y'all can take this.
Yeah. So they just broke the tiebreaker. That was their third time meeting each other, and the Warriors got them 2-1. So they
Okay,
won the two rings out of the three.
okay,
I got that message from you about that story too. I'm gonna check that
yeah,
out.
man, yeah, man. It's crazy that's on my timeline. I'm just talking about when you look at the situation, and what you got to understand. The reason paternity is mandatory is because there's more. You perfect example. You see the okay. Let me set this frame for you. You'll see it when you watch the video. Maury, not Maury. Steve Wilco. He got the girl sitting to dude left, and the dude sitting to the right, and then her mama standing behind her, and his mama standing behind him. So the way my brain works, I see 3 out of 4. You see what I'm saying? I see
Yeah.
3 out of 4, and he's alone, and most of all his decisions are being made based off of the influence of those 3 women. I don't know what type of male
Hmm.
influence he got in his life. All I know is if he do got some male influence, that's a paternal type male influence, it ain't there to back him up.
Yeah.
And so he's feeling the grandmothers love each other. His mama love the girl. The girl has 2 babies that not his. Okay? And his mama
Hmm.
say that that's all right. Okay?
His mama said that.
Yeah. His mama say that that's right. She the one say you gonna step up and be a man. She the one say, and boy just been told you free, bruh. Steve just read the paper and said you free. And they talking about making him decide to step up and be a man. He can now try to do something with his life. I don't know what path he was on. I don't know if he was going to school. I don't know none of that. But really, this is the
First,
thinking that we have in this collective group.
first of all, man, the fact that he just found out that he's not the father of 2 kids, that should have just proved to him that that woman that he's with is not worthy for him, like at all. Like
Yeah, but
he should
he ain't
already go
got
ahead and
nobody
just
like
bounce,
me and you talking to him. He doesn't have. You know what?
man.
We need to do. We know what we need to do. We need to do a video on this video. Okay? After this broadcast, what we need to do is watch this video together and do a YouTube video on this video.
Yeah, talking about the whole situation.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
this don't
yeah,
make no sense.
yeah. It doesn't. Now here's the thing. Like, since the courts like to step into stuff a lot, should they like step into situations like that and just be like, hey, no, hey, listen, we're we're gonna ask that you don't. If you're not gonna be with her, you shouldn't take care of the child because he is young too. So like you said, he's being told how he should do things. He's young. When this man get older, man, he gonna think about that shit his
Bruh,
mom said and be
bruh.
like, "What
When
the
he
fuck
get
was she
older,
saying?"
because right now is no time for you to be making life altering the next 18 years decisions. Okay?
Bruh.
When he get older,
So many young folks make dumb decisions early.
mm-hmm.
So many. Our religion calls young men to make, men and women to make these type of decisions so early.
What do you mean? Elaborate.
I, what I'm saying is the because I don't believe. young adults shouldn't get married at an early age. Most young adults. I don't believe most young adults should get married. I believe that most young adults are not ready for that type of commitment.
Hmm.
I believe, growing up the religion is always, as soon as you get with somebody, they immediately get with you about shacking and all of that type stuff. So they hurry up and force
See,
you to
so
wed that person so
here's
that.
my beef with that though. My beef with that is not so much at the religion, and my beef with that is more so with the hypocrites that practice it. Okay, because if
Hmm.
we was practicing it right, I wouldn't be shacking up with her in the first place. If we was practicing it right, we wouldn't find ourselves in a situation where we pretending like we married, we staying together, we got joint bank accounts, we ride in the same car, we only, we got apartment, all this. If we was practicing it right in the first place, you would have taught me how to exist in this world and court someone and make commitments, follow through on my commitments, and do right. So by the time this come rolling around, when I'm 18, 19, 20, 21, I'm not living as crappy as you taught me to live, and you trying to force me to get married with somebody.
Yeah, and see, I just think at that early age, man, folks should be worrying about getting their life together, trying to
That's
figure out who they
exactly what they
are.
should be worried about. They should getting okay. It seems how you brought religion up. Let's look at it for a second, and we're gonna specifically focus on Christianity because that's uh what's
That's the
common.
main one in the
Yeah.
hood.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the hood, that's what's common. Christian folks.
Hmm.
When
You
God
don't see no Catholics in the hood.
when God made Adam, according to the Bible, He gave Adam instruction. He gave Adam a job before He gave Adam Eve. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
And this symptom that we discussing is actually a byproduct of the topic at hand. This Father's Day week, okay. Tomorrow night we're going to talk about custody. Okay. Well, this this symptom, is basically, look, we're not laying a proper foundation down, so one generation can't get right that can make things right for the next generation, to make things right for the next and easier for the next generation. Because we keep following
Hmm.
these perpetual cycles where every generation either stay in the same spot or take steps backwards.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like you said, well, society has made us feel like expressing ourselves sexually is bad. Nah, it's not bad, but with great power come great responsibility, Peter Parker. Okay, if you want to screw, okay, then I'm gonna need for you to get your life right. But here's the problem.
Hmm.
Here's the problem. No, not many of us have set ourselves up to be able to be looked upon as examples. Because most of us, we ain't do it right. So we either feel like we can't be
Yeah.
examples, or the young folks, they ain't trying to listen to us because we feel like we got to tell them everything about how we was living back in the day. They don't need to know everything. Okay?
Oh, yeah. I think each generation is responsible for the generation behind them. But from what I be seeing about a lot of old heads, they're real hard on the generation after them.
Yeah.
Of course, they were hard headed too, and I think they forget that. But they may have been hard headed in a different way. But you got to think about that generation was raised by your generation, or
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It was raised by you. So if they coming up a certain way, you got to take some
Now
responsibility
we don't have to
for how
take
them
any
kids act.
responsibility because the reason our children messed up is society. Society is the big bad. Society is like the man. You have no part in your children being sorry. Why I saw this comedian tell a joke today. He was talking about Jamaicans, and I was reading the comment section, and the Jamaicans, and some of the Jamaicans in the comment section was getting all butthurt about the joke. But basically, what he was saying is, Jamaicans are cool, and they do this and they do that. Jamaican dress nice, and then he said, yeah, they so cool that they don't be knowing all of their kids. They be having kids that they don't know about. And yeah, it's true.
Got kids that I didn't know about.
It's true, okay. And it was funny is I was speaking from my personal experience about a particular Jamaican man I know who got 30-something odd brothers and sisters, that some of which he don't know, okay. And I was telling this story to another Jamaican and say him himself got 12 kids, and his and his generation coming up. So we take no responsibility for how we was acting, and we want to blame society for how our children, all they doing is just repeating and regurgitating the behaviors that they see us do. We think these kids ain't watching us when they little. Now they see that the lady you getting all close to ain't my mama. They see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like I say, man, that's just what I believe. I believe each generation is responsible for the next.
Mm-hmm. For two down, we're responsible for two down. Our kids and our grandkids. That's what we're responsible for.
Yeah, if we took that responsibility as serious as we supposed to, things would be a lot different.
Nah, I gotta watch the game. What are you talking about? I'm just saying.
We got 2 minutes left, man. It was a pretty good show. I knew it was going to be hard to get a caller today due to the game, but hopefully tomorrow's show we could get some people calling in, because it's a serious show as well. We actually have I think 1 or 2 more guests on the show as well. Basically it's going to be a show talk about it's the court system screwing men in the custody battle. Is that right, Mr. Mango?
Yeah. The exact wording, I'm not sure because I ain't on that page. But basically, are men getting screwed when it comes to court custody? Are they getting a fair shake? Yeah. And who knows? There might be some men or women who say yes, and some men or women who say no. That's why we're here to have the conversation. My views, my opinions aren't law. So we just having a conversation. Maybe you can share and enlighten me better, and maybe I can help you see things better.
So if you want to join us for that show tomorrow, it'll be the same time at 11 p.m. tomorrow. So, join us for that show tomorrow. You have anything for these 15 seconds, Mr. Mango?
Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Go ahead and hit that like if you like this conversation. Hit that subscribe button if you want to get more up-to-date news on when we doing shows and what some of the show topics are going to be about. And leave a comment. Leave your thoughts. You can always let us know how you feel about the show, even if you don't watch or listen to it live, in the comment section of the video on the YouTube channel. That's the B.A.M Talk Spot on YouTube. You can subscribe, hit that bell so you can get the notification.
Yep. All right. So that concludes this show.
We got to start doing a numbering system. This episode 8. I think it might be episode 8.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at all of them and count it up. But yeah, I'm excited about tomorrow too, man. We won't have a game that's in the way, and then plus we got two other people.
Yeah, I think it'll be great. What I want to do, I want to take a few minutes to do like a positive something, because I was thinking about today's and yesterday's and how the connection to Father's Day. Like, man, we just like, it's just it can sound like complaining all bad, and I just want to take a few minutes to like, share a story, a positive story. So you kind of not make it all serious, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So at the start of the show tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, to start.
Okay, cool, cool.
I'll try to make it
Well,
quick.
you streaming tonight or are you done?
Um, well, I don't know. I'm still kind of woke. Tell you what, watch that video, and maybe at some point tomorrow, before we do this show, we can do like a short 10, 15 minute us talking about that video.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It don't have to
All
be
right.
long. You know, I just want to play the video in the show, and that probably give me enough time to actually download the video, so I could play it on the stream, and you would have watched it already, and then we could discuss it as as you know we're talking the show, a little commentary, how we our thoughts.
Okay, cool, cool.
And,
Do
and,
that.
and you know what though? I've been thinking, and I'm gonna stop the stream now. We just gonna talk. Um, I was thinking